Hi. Okay, so I did chapter 7, and it's about the Waco shooting. It was at a Twin Peaks restaurant in Waco, Texas. They were preparing for a group of motor bicyclists, and it raised question if the two gangs would show up, and they did, and it went south and escalated, and gunfire broke out, and the police shot into the crowd and shot 9 people dead and many more wounded. I think it was like 20 were wounded. So the story blew up. They were trying to find out information, like the local newspaper and news like TV, where they were trying to find out names and all that. So they wanted to, the people wanted to know if they were local people or people from surrounding cities in Texas. So the police couldn't find the next of kin for a lot of them and delayed the release of the names because they weren't really cooperating very well, and so they had to hold back information like their names. And then after that, an autopsy report came out with the names. So in the end, the police didn't give out the names. It was the autopsy report. So Wheeler, she was one of the journalists. She wanted to wait till the police gave the names because that would mean that the families would know about their loved ones. But Wheeler's boss was getting annoyed, so he told her to message the families or the wives through Facebook. And there's pros and cons in like releasing names, but most of the family members found out that they had a dead relative on social media or news. So is this ethical? I don't think that's ethical. I think that's awful. Okay, for question 1, it says the 4 main tenets of the Society of Professional Journalists Code of Ethics. I think they are all, they all work together. I don't think one's better than the other, because it says 1 is who gets hurt if we tell the story. Relatives could get hurt, immediate family, friends if it's a surprise. The number 2 is, does the benefit to the public of knowing that truth outweigh the harm? I don't benefit of knowing. I think it's good for the public to know, but I think they don't need to know every detail, and unless they're they know the family or something and they find out from the news. But if it's on national news, most people do not know them, so I think you keep the details to what you need to know, what you don't need to know. And then number 3 was, what does the public need to know? Like I said, I don't think they need to know the details that don't matter. I think just the facts, and I think it's important to know. Okay, so number 2 asks if being the first with the information is my priority or my primary goal. I think good information is my goal. I would rather take my time and not be first with the information and in the end have the right information if I wait longer. I'd rather wait, get the right information, and then tell my boss or whatever, than just, I have information for you, and then it end up not being true, or there's some wiggle room with that. So, and then the second part of number 2 was, can you see any problems that might arise by rushing to get the information reported first? Yeah, it could be wrong. The story could be totally false. So I think there's a lot of, and then, you're not as trustworthy, or, if you kind of just give in half work. So I think doing the time, working, slowing down, doing the time, and getting quality, right information, I think is the way to go. So number 3 asks, what could the newsroom have done to deal with the view held by Wheeler and some other reporters that reporting the names before the police released them would be unethical? Just, I would not run them. Like, if the newsroom knew that the names didn't come from the police and they thought that was unethical, then you don't run the names on this, on the story. You just say, hey, like, this is what's going on, names are not released, we'll update you when we can, type thing. But I think that's the easiest way, is just don't run the names in the story. I think it's important that if you think something's unethical, to like not running the story or running the names. I think I would rather go to my boss and be like, I do not feel comfortable using these names, will you please not run their names or whatever, than have the family learn about their family members off social media or off the TV. So I think it's important to know to stand your ground and to know what's right and wrong, and follow your gut on that for sure.